I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. So now we turn to 2 Chronicles, and this is going to tell us the same basic account of the siege of Jerusalem. I think this one will start a little earlier in the reign of Zedekiah, simply because the accounts don't line up. I mean, it's hard to get them to line up perfectly without picking out one or two verses at a time. So we're going to just pick this up. This is in 2 Chronicles, chapter 36, and we're going to read verses 11 through 21. So let's see if we get any new information here. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord his God, and humbled not himself before Jeremiah the prophet, speaking from the mouth of the Lord. And he also rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar, who had made him swear by God. But he stiffened his neck and hardened his heart from returning unto the Lord God of Israel. Moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Lord, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. And the Lord God of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. But they mocked the messengers of God, and despised his words, and misused his prophets, until the wrath of God arose against his people, till there was no remedy. Therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldeans, who slew their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary, and had no compassion upon young man, or maiden, old man, or him that stooped for age. He gave them all into his hand. And all the vessels of the house of God, great and small, and the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king and of his princes, all these he brought to Babylon. And they burnt the house of God, and brake down the wall of Jerusalem, and burnt all the palaces thereof with fire, and destroyed all the goodly vessels thereof. And them that had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babylon, where they were servants to him and his sons, until the reign of the king of Persia, to fulfill the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed her Sabbaths. For as long as she lay desolate, she kept Sabbath, to fulfill 70 years. So this chapter doesn't really give us much detail about the siege itself, but it's more a object lesson in why the siege was allowed to happen, why God stepped back and said this is it. And it's because he gave them their last chance, told them to fall Babylon, told them to submit themselves, and they would be safe. But Zedekiah chose to rebel against Nebuchadnezzar. Even after swearing an oath on the name of God, he chose to rebel against Nebuchadnezzar. And he polluted the sanctuary. He brought idol worship in. He did all these things. And as we read in Jeremiah, he did proclaim a sabbatical year and let all the people go. But he then went back on his word. And so we have all these things and the rejection of the prophets, and God just saying, nope, it's done, you're done. And because of that, the city is burnt, all the palaces destroyed, the people are taken captive, the temple is destroyed, all the wealth, all the treasures are taken into Babylon. And they served Babylon until the coming of Persia. 70 years ago, 70 years, that is 70. So it's the same prophecy again, it's reiterating this 70-year prophecy that Jeremiah had already spoken. And then the coming of the king of Persia. At this point, it does not name him. I believe it will. We haven't finished the chapter yet, but we will finish that when it comes time, because the rest of this chapter is the rise of the king of Persia in another 60 or so years. So we will see what happens between now and then. Nice, short, and we'll see you in the next one. The next one, we're returning back to Jeremiah again. So we'll see you there.